And I think that DSGaming got definitely some things to work on and improve on, and if they can do so, I'm sure they can be a team to find closure to some of these games. But with that said, talking about games, we are indeed going to be getting into the game, straight into Miramar after that rehost. Thank you so much for waiting. We had a little bit of a talk show there with Imperium to break down a few of the teams going into this game, but now we got the playing path, and it's actually even better than last game, so I'm cool. That's a good rehost, that's great.
Yes, it is. Thank you, rehoster. Much appreciated. Blacklists are going to go for their passive drop location by runes. Navi are going to have the Cabri era. Geek Fam are going to go to El Pozo, and it should be all good in the hood for a lot of these teams. I'm really glad you mentioned DSGaming as a team that you want to see grab a chicken dinner, because I do think, you know, DSGaming and Reject, those two teams together, and I suppose the South Korean and Japanese regions, I think they've been very undervalued over the last year and a half, at least, or at least underappreciated in how much they have massively grown in skill, in kind of competition and player base, and you know, they don't get as much love as I feel they should on how much they are competing so heavily with teams across the world, the dominating teams like Zeus, like BTR, like Navi, so to speak. They're definitely starting to rise more and more to the occasion.
I think that's the big story that we have about the South Korean team and also the Japanese team of Reject and also of DSGaming is when you look before the PMGC, these are two regions that did not have as big of an ecosystem for PUBGMOBILE esports. Then you had the Japanese PUBGMOBILE events that were put together, same for also the South Korean region, and especially Japan, they got such a big viewership over there. It's huge how PUBGMOBILE is. It's such a big game, and especially the esports scene is big over there. So it gives just a better ecosystem for not only these teams to compete in, but also train with. And that's really important. That is why we saw such a big improvement from these teams since the PMGC of last year and now coming into this event. Like talking about it, Party Bus is going to be picking up Salam, moving away, and Broly will be able to escape, apparently, the wrath of the zombies.
Party Bus, love it. It seems like both Myths and Fnatic Zombies are going for a bit of an Impala looting spot, but for the most part, Myths have gotten there first. Myths went for the long jump with the parachute, and Fnatic Zombies opted to go for that kind of shorter shoot but grab a vehicle. Both teams gotten there roughly the same time, but as far as actual guns, Myths have gotten there first, and Hossein looking to catch one out, but not quite yet.
This is very similar to what they brought on the desk, but they talked about NASA. We didn't talk too much about Fnatic Zombies. There needs to be a drastic change, and we mentioned it actually last game during the game. Fnatic Zombies were a team that were too passive. Here they saw a team and they went straight for them, and they know Myths typically drop around this location. They've done their research, they've definitely done their homework. It's definitely not one of the strongest team when it comes to actually taking fights head on. They're all about rotation, so if that was the game plan for Fnatic Zombies, they picked the absolute perfect target, I would say.
They did, 110%, but the thing is, there's one player, Fnatic Zombies, yet to join up in this Pala area to take this fight against Myths. We did see Phase 1 pop up as well, Maxman, and it is on the northeastern side of the map. I love a win. A winning shot, absolutely love a winning shot, but on that northeastern side of the map, so whoever does win this fight, however long it takes, and I would like to see it being executed a little bit quicker, and if it is, it will really allow the winning team to rotate into a strong Phase 1 position quite early on and quite easily compared to a lot of other teams like Valdez, DS, Yala, DRS, and even Nasser, who are in La Medina. So I'm hoping that both teams recognize this and realize time is ticking.
Tell me, it's Phase 1. I think they can take it relatively slow right now, but if it does remain like this until Phase 2, then that is where I would say yes, the time is going to be ticking indeed. But as of right now, it's a little vacation. Unless you're inside of Impala, that is not the case. What you call it the Winnie? That is, I think that's the first time. I think that's the first time I've heard it called like that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, Winchester, the wind, like
the wind. Winnie for the Winnie.
Yeah, no.
Like,
no.
Like Winnie for the man. Nothing feels better than a knock with a Winchester. Fact.
Thank you. You said Winchester. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, I thought I'd stoop down to your level of, you know, specific English. Sorry, it's not. It wasn't good enough for you previously, Max. Fine. Let me just get my dictionary out, or thesaurus. Is that okay to say thesaurus, Max?
I think so. But I can tell you also is that you got also Hassan that's going to be knocked on down by the player that's actually inside the chapel. So they're going to try and move away. And the one main issue we saw with Myth right now is because they got completely surprised by Fnatic Zombies being so aggressive on that push that you saw a lot of the players of Myth, they picked a building and they did not move from that one building, meaning they catered to the loot in that building and they can't get some extra loot off the back of it. I saw one player of Myth actually having no vest and no helmet. So off the back of that, if you are taking a fight, you're definitely going to be underlooted. And that's something that I think Fnatic Zombies were trying to play around, but because they were rotating so quickly, I think they are also severely underlooted themselves to make this fight relatively hard to pick. But now Hassan and also Pubg both get knocked on down. There are two players trying to set up a flank, and you cannot pull those reses. And if you do, Fnatic Zombies are going to try and stop that from happening.
But also, you don't have two players setting up flanks. You only need one player setting up a flank. And in that time, It's a Boot has been able to join up, so it's a full Fnatic Zombies squad. I understand that Myths are more of a passive team and they're maybe not used to taking super calculated and aggressive fights, but you can't give so much breathing space to your opponents and allow them to pick you off one by one, because when you really think about it, that wasn't necessarily super aggressive from Fnatic Zombies. That was simply executing one by one, and now Myths are two players down, and their two remaining players are opposite sides of each other.
I want to be very clear, when you're looking at this for Myth, you lost two players, so Sam and Faroki. I think the Faroki has been one of the players that's been performing extremely well for Myth. Same for Broly. I think they're the two players that really stood out for me the most when we talk about Myth. Really? Pick up your winnings. I mean, you don't even have any winnings. Pick up your losings, I guess, and just get together and leave. This is not a fight that's worth taking, even though it is Miramar. Cut your losses, perfectly said. And just remain as a two-man. That's fine. And especially if you see the plane path, you know there's a lot of breathing space towards the east of like El Azahar, Tierra Bronca, and even down south of Cancer Militar. Make the most out of it, because you're definitely not going to be winning that fight. I mean, I said that last game for our Lamborghini, and he did kind of surprise me, so it's like 90% chance it's not going to go your way.
Okay, so let's have a look at where the other teams are in the circle. So we're halfway through phase one and we committed a lot of time to that fight, so we really need to get a picture of where the other teams stand. Geek Fam rotated directly from El Pozo into the western side of the circle. Quick, straight to the point. Blacklist going for a wide rotation around the north of the Cabrera. Talk about passive. But I love it. I absolutely love it, because they're avoiding a lot of teams potentially going north of this phase one. DRS also quick on their rotation to head down towards Cruz of Val. And Yala have a really nice 2-2 split, but it's also quite heavily separated. Now, it's in a position where at the moment they're not really being pressured. But as we get into phase two, depending on how it shifts, I would like to see that 2-2 split just get a little bit closer to each other.
I'm hoping to see that actually come to fruition at some point in time in this game. I think that'll be a good way of making the game a little bit easier for themselves. Though bottom side, there we go, A1, I8, a little bit closer. And I want to talk again about the format of the tournament that I find very interesting, right? Is big prize pool, going for charity, amazing stuff to fight versus COVID-19. And this is like a tournament inside of the tournament, because you've got the big event where it's going to be 250k to charity for the charity of the choice of the winning team. And also per day, you have these mini tournaments where the top one team that has performed on the day gets 80,000 to go to the charity of their choice. Yesterday there was Valdez. Today, this seems like a very good chance that it's going to be A1, but it's still so close for a lot of the teams. You might see other contenders actually getting there. Like, I'm thinking Blacklist, I'm thinking Geek Fam, even other teams like Narvik. You still have an opportunity of being there and getting that $80,000 US for the team of their choice. So even if you think that it might be over for some of the teams at the bottom for that race of the first place, you can still be first on the given day and get a really big chunkaroonie of money going in the charity of your choice.
Oh yes, sorry. Phase 2 did continue to shift on towards the eastern side of the map. So even more of an opening to the south of El Azahar, but teams are already converging around that area. A1 continued to shift up north, avoided, I believe it was either I8 or another team, and they're just kind of sticking to their own game. They're close to Nasser in this situation. I8, the Xavier, getting close to BTR and Fnatic Zombies around the Impala area, which is obviously on the southern edge of this phase 2. So I expect us to see a little bit of early action between 2 or 3 of these teams.
To see the BTR, there you go, spotted out IA. Got the intel, but I don't think IA has any intention of
I like
downhill.
this.
They're not going to
like this from IA. I thought they were going to continue forward, actually. That's why I was expecting. I thought, well, no. But from what we've seen from IA in other games, remember, they're a team that like to go quite deep into the circle. But the fact that they're stopping and getting information, it does show that they're learning. So I really appreciate that.
No, I agree. I think that is a great change for IA. Not going to go, especially you don't want to go downhill versus BTR. I mean, they don't know it's BTR, right? But I don't think it would be a great idea regardless. But they are actually pushing away into another team now. That's going to be Fnatic Zombies. Remnants of the players that were fighting early in Impala. Well, the remnants, still, the entire team is still up, so they're going to be peacing out. No reason for them to take that fight versus IA. IA trying to maybe get a sneaky kill here and there. They won't be able to hit those shots. Fnatic Zombies looking to center up a little bit more, which I like to see, but they're still looking to go aggressive later on, so they are more focused on the position instead of the fight, which I think is the right mindset when you are in phase 2 on Miramar.
I like that from IA. You know, even if it didn't work out and it kind of...
Pushing them away.
Yeah, you're pushing them away, and I really like that kind of little bit of aggression from IA. BTR continue forward once they realized that no team were there. Yala have a really beautiful spread on the south of El Azahar Hills. Like, I'm talking a beautiful spread. And now we see Fnatic Zombies getting close to BTR.
Well, they can't catch a break. This is their third team already. They're going to be going up again. But this time it's BTR. Not an easy team to take on down. Let's see what the Zombies can do. Apparently not too much as they suffer some big damage. And BTR take down the Zombies instantly. And that's 2 kills instantly to their name. Yeah, they tried to go for the push, but unfortunately nothing came of it.
Oh my god. Oh, wow, that ended so quick. And that's a domino effect, right? IA pushed them forward. Maybe Fnatic Zombies got a little bit scared. Didn't want to be too close to a team that had moved into Impala. And yeah, they paid their price going down at the hands of BTR, who will remain as a full squad. We are starting to see a little bit of a fight between Navi and Zeus, but Navi are separated, so they're not in any way prepared to take this fight. If phase 3 pops up, it's a massive southeastern shift on towards the eastern coastline. BTR are in a beautiful spot. Yala do have the ability to shift across the hill and control and push back. Reject.
Yeah, I was about to say Reject would be the time for them to start regrouping. They had a very wide spread. Luckily enough, they were all in circles, so why not just regroup and go minimum 4-2-2 split instead of a 4-man split? I think that would be the best way and course of action for them to pull off this time around. Na'Vi not taking that fight versus Zeus. We're going to have a quick little replay of that one, apparently. We got this went over to the M249. And actually did get himself a knock automatic there. Instantly went for the kill confirmed. What I have the impression happened with Na'Vi is they were going for 2-2 split, sending 2 players forward to scout 2 players behind to be serving as like the safety net for the rest of the team. And unfortunately, the 2 players on the back end got caught out. There was Tixi and Matic, and Zeus were just there at the right time and struck while they had the opportunity of doing so. So unfortunate for Na'Vi, but they are still alive as a 3-man, so there's still a lot to go through for them.
Looking at this fight between Nasser and DSGaming, DSGaming do have the better spread, but Nasser, I feel, are in overall a better position, and that's why DSGaming are looking to try to reposition, even if it puts them at a disadvantage in terms of cloaking Nasser. They recognize that realistically they don't have the better spot to hold on to and turn anything around on this fight in the time being. I like how proactive Nasser are being, taking a couple of shots, sending the bullets towards the DSGaming players to try and unsettle them. But at the end of the day, both of these teams are still outside the circle. They're not far away, but they are outside the circle, and time lost on this fight is time wasted in moving into phase 3 and setting yourself up for phase 4.
Don't get me wrong, there's still quite a few amount of entry points, especially towards where DSGaming currently stand. But it's the more you delay it, then the less chance it is going to be able to pull off that rotation in the first place. Though Tixi going to be taking that fight. Got himself a great double knock onto Zeus, and what was that? Absolutely disgusting, as that Zeus sent straight into the graveyard and eliminate place.
On a lovely warm day like this, revenge is a dish best served cold. And Navi dealt that dish beautifully to the Zeus. boys, and finally, great to see Tixie, the man who I have assigned PMGC card up, by the way, waking up and getting a couple of shots off and really showing his prowess in the PMWI.
Yeah, you flex your cards all the time, man.
I had to, man. I had to flex it, dude.
Nah.
Had to do.
Reject, though, committing a little bit still to a little bit of a spread. It's more of a 2-1-1 currently unfolding, but still it's better than what we saw in prior games where they would just stay way too spread, so I'm still counting that as a big win in my eyes. NASA, though, you said it, they delayed it a little bit, and now there are opportunities for example, I8 or even A1 to actually slow down that shift, so NASA's got to be very careful and tip their toes all over the place, but the circle centers up, and it's a big portion that's unoccupied with literally no compounds. 50% of this position is so hard to play. Wow.
Sorry, but I have to point this out, Max. Blacklist International, they started all the way in ruins, and they're now on the eastern side of the map. Their rotation is just 9 billion IQ. They're like, nah, we're avoiding everybody. You play your own game. We know what we're doing. And it may not be what we're used to. It may not be what we would always like to see, but you got to respect their commitment to fantastic rotations and just playing for the late game.
Everyone's playing checkers, and Blacklist International, they're playing 3D chess right now. I was going for it, well, 4D chess actually, should I say, because I think chess is by default 3D, so 3D chess is like normal chess, but yeah, you get my point.
I get what you're saying.
I was trying to say something smart, but it didn't go as I wanted, so yeah, unfortunately that's how it goes. I can't even play chess myself, I can't, so I'm pretty bad. But anyways, BTR are now going to be driving 2 players inside the circle. That's going to be Zux and Luxy. The twins are in. Liquid and Ryzen have yet to really follow up, but there's no one that's going to contest that spot, so it should be a relatively easy thing to make unfold. But A1, they're going to be actually sneaking right in front of IA. And it seemed like they took a little bit too long, and now they're going to be losing their prime spot into the circle. But also another team that's going to be struggling. Actually, not only one, two. That's going to be DRS and Valdez. They are somewhat all mixed up in between each another, and to move away from this spot alone is going to be relatively hard. But then you have Yala and GeekFam that are overlooking that. Like, what the hell's happening? We're going to stop that from happening in the first place.
And the spread from Yala is beautiful because Jamis is still outside the circle, so he's getting extra bits of information. And that's forcing DRS and Valdez to, if anything, take each other out. Great shots by Mafia and Ninja. Mr. Bora's going to send himself in. Yeah, okay, Nima's knocked down. But at the end of the day, DRS have found a way to enter in and avoid Geekland for the time being and push in onto Valdez.
It's going to be the attempt for Valdez. Let's see if they can hold on strong to this spot. Have yet to push with GeekFam. This is the thing that I said about GeekFam. I love how they know when teams are going to rotate through what conditions.
Yes, sir.
And just defend it. Just hold on to it. And they just make the fight go from normally what would be a hard mode into an easy mode. They just got to hold on to the ridge line, keep on contesting the position of Valdez, keep throwing nades their way. And now they might just take out each another themselves. DRS is slowly pushing behind Valdez. So Nepal going up against Valdez is going to be mixing things up quite a significant bit. But DRS, NASA, should I say? They're going to get onto the kill feed really significantly. We want to see this team go more aggressive, so I'm happy to see that actually happening. And now it's going to be damn rude. Great knock, and Concept still up and ready to go.
DRS are kind of avoiding taking on this fight fully. I don't know if they realize that GeekFam are there. That's what I can expect. So they're going, okay, well, we don't really want to get involved because we could get third party. They're heading more towards Yala, but still outside the circle for the time being.
A lot more comfortable in the south though. NASA went out, A1 went out also. No, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, NASA, you guys were actually taking a fight. That's good. Keep fighting. That's what we want to see you guys trying to do for the games that remain throughout today and also the last 2 days of the World Invitational. The GeekFam having 1 and 2 casualties actually. Going to make it a lot easier for Martin to go for the push. Valdez, they're knocking on Evan's door and they're going to be taking everyone out of this spot into the northern side. Only 1 more remaining. They do get himself a res force per second. Wow. That's it. GeekFam, I said it. They had one of the strongest spots, but Valdez made it look like it was so easy.
It seems like patience paid off for Valdez from Thailand, right? They stayed down, stayed quiet, but nobody really pushed them. DRS avoided them. They got taken out by Yala. GeekFam left it too late. They tried to move with the blue zone of the circle closing in, and Valdez punished them from behind. That was really definitely poor mistakes from both GeekFam and DRS, which allowed Valdez to continue up as a 3-man team in this game. And hey, look, maybe that's part of the reason why they are currently the leading team of this PMWI.
I'm so surprised no one took the compound in which Yala are currently going. You're seeing all the players are currently rotating in the Congo line. And Bandal's already in there. Jamal should be joining up very soon, and I believe Power4 and also Edet too. How was no one there? BTI is so close, Reject are so close, and they were going for the widest spread. They were even there, I believe, for some time, and yet they just did try and hold on to the compound, which it would take a lot of attention, right?
This is phase 5, so you would have thought that people would have been here already, but even in the last circle, every one of the teams were on the edge of play. Maybe there's an unfamiliarity with this kind of terrain from a lot of these teams, but it's causing some great action to unfold in front of our eyes. Blacklist still being relatively quiet, but they're now gonna have to start to make some noise because they have Yala, they have BTR, they have Reject Scarlet, who are just full sending it in.
Well, I mean, jackpot right now for Yala. One knock coming out from Zuxi from a distance, and that's going to be Reject trying to go for a last resort. I mean, it was not even a last resort play. They didn't have to push, but they tried to go there early so they would be a little bit safer. And yeah, once again, another jackpot coming their way. There's some extra kills coming for free over to Yala Esports. And BTR, they saw that fight happen. They're thinking there might have been some casualties. There might have been some severe damage coming on through onto Yala. Maybe we can make that push and that breach actually come through.
Now, one team you said you want to see get a win, DS. DS, they are chilling on the west. They only have the last remaining player, Myth, close by. They've either side of the road. Just as I say that, Satan takes them down. So I really like how DS are looking in this game.
Really enjoying it. So they're going to be careful. If any team is alerted of where DS currently stand, they got no buildings, got very little cover to play from, so they're going to try and just sneak their way closer and closer. ZZP is going to be serving as more of a scout there, a little bit of high ground up north, and trying to get more intel as to what's happening, but they got so much breathing space. They don't have to take a fight, and hopefully team do not detect him, and if the circle comes their way, there is a clear chance that the South Korean team could be taking himself the win. Those circle shifting right on top of Valdez. A big portion of the compound of Yala is now going to be taken out of commission. BTR and now I8. What's going to be the game plan for these two teams?
Very, very tricky. Now, what I did like about I8 is that UZM had started kind of edging more towards the southwestern side of that previous circle to try and maybe get a bit of information on the west. But it seems for the time being, they are more heavily focused on BTR's direction. If they wait for the right time to strike, they could third party what will be a most likely inevitable Yala, BTR and Blacklist International fight, but it also seems like Blacklist are heading more towards the Falcons.
Yeah, Claire and Eons, and even Tira is joining up. I think Alas is maybe going to be serving more as a backline support and trying to assist that rotation of the team to actually happen in the first place. If they just get a little bit of an high ground, and now another player of Alas actually get taken out, there's any concept than GUI, they could very easily take that control, and we know it, we said it, right? Blacklist International, they get to the late game, they become an absolutely different caliber team. But indeed, Imperium, I am looking, I'm paying attention, because BTR, they're going for the push, they got themselves a huge smoke road pushing into the compound of Yala Esports, but Yala, a little bit spread from each another. Bandar in a position that will make it relatively hard to assist this team directly, but also got to be careful. I think the BTR has an insane amount of nades ready to go at any time.
I think Bandar had a great position, but he's actually given it over. He should be flanking more to the side. I know it's out in the open, but it will give an angle of pressure on as Blade does get a knock on the jam. As what did I say about I8 third party in this?
Concept went out actually for Valdez, so that's great to more breathing space, and I8, there you go. It's time for a third party, baby. It is time to go for it and throw everything we have in this game. BTR are gonna take things relatively slow. They hear the cars coming in from I. They're like, oh, we don't want to get too involved with this fight. But I8 still kept to play onto the back end. These smokes dissipate. Luxy, Zuxi, they are prone to be taken down by Crypto, but Crypto got spotted away. And now they lose the off angle. Crypto eliminated, and now I8 are fully locked into this compound without any escape potential.
BTR spread the way I wanted to see Yala do. Now Luxy's gone down, but at the end of the day, they still have control of this fight.
Gonna be the game for them. Kill confirmed onto I8. Blade, last remaining member for the team. But DSGaming, they took the control that I expected Blacklist International to really take into the circle itself. So they're going to be sending 2 players forward. The 2 other players of DSZZP could be trying to cross forward also and take more control. And we might just be seeing our very first South Korean win in this World Invitational East. It'll be a great story to tell. A lot of smokes making it really hard, Imperium, here for BTR to hit those smokes and hit those nades and mollies, but now the blue zone is going to be engulfing this compound, and this fight now has a ticking time bomb attached to it. You need to end it up quickly, or you must leave the scene. That is what these teams are trying to achieve.
like sardines in a can. 3 teams are raging into the buildings of this compound. The circle has shifted up north, so all of these players have to move out, face each other, and move across the road.
Over across the little bit, Liquid going to be taking some boost and tick damage, trying to peek through the window. It does get some significant damage, but not enough to actually find a knock. Ryzen on the back end though gets picked away, and now BTR are getting mowed down. Only Liquid remains with just a few HP remaining, and this is the time. This is the call that Yala should be going for the push. Liquid was able to pull off the first aid, but it's just not going to make it work out. Yala Esport taking down one of the top teams in the lobby, and he said in Imperium, you want to see Yala do well. That was one fight for the books.
Full squad up, late game Yala showing their prowess, but now the hard work is yet to be done. They have to move across the road. DSGaming are solidified in this circle, so are Blacklist International, but there's a number of dips and crevices that they can try and hold on to.
Great, now it's time. DSGaming, you need to put the control down. You cannot allow these teams to cross over that road. If they do make it over, then you might just leave that game away. Blade will be popped off, and they will be eliminated in a 4th place for i8. Still a really good result for them, but now DSGaming starting to ramp things up to 9 kills so far. They're still going to be Blacklist International. They're going to try and avoid this spot, but they are sandwiched up between Yala and DSGaming. This is one of the worst places Blacklist International could hope to be. Alas, spotted out, banged out, instant headshot.
So good for
DSGaming. They're just going to steal everything. They are taking so much control, and they are going to be the kings of the lobby. Pick themselves up another kill. That's going to be Blacklist International out of the game. Now only Yala Esports separates DSGaming and their very first winner chicken dinner. Names exchanged. Vandar's just waiting in the smokes, waiting in the winds. Ida is going to be trying to hide behind that bush, but unfortunately not in time. The name will confirm it. Such good execution from DSGaming as they still up Imperium as a 4-man team. Bandar, you have to clutch it up, gets one knock, but can he push any further? The answer to that is...